Hello and welcome to Elizabeth Hogarth Designs. Following on from last week's Christmas in July card making session where I attempted to make a range of 4x6 and 6x6 cards that are easy to post, I've designed another simple card set today. So here you can see the cards are slightly smaller. They will fit into a 4x5 envelope, and really that is my mission this year, to keep the cards relatively flat and simple to send. So I've been using the scraps from the Cozy Winter collection from Graphic 45. I've been incorporating some dies with my mirror card, and I've also gone back to the 12 Days of Christmas papers mixed with some tartan, and you can see that I'm using 3 sizes of dies, and I have been able to use arches, triangles. I also tried tags to create these cards that are flat to send. So here are the Spellbinders arc dies. These are the triangles. I also tried the tag dies, but these ones were a little bit too small. And in the background there, that is a Works die that I've had for several years, featuring a snow globe winter scene. So these are my favourite card designs. I cut it with white card to begin with to give it some stability, and then I pulled out these Stamperia papers, which are absolutely beautiful to craft with, and I've decided that rather than storing them all, I'm going to cut into them and make really beautiful simple cards this year. So I'm looking for smaller designs. I think I'm going to use this page for the background, and the nice thing about the Stamperia paper that you can mix and match them, everything will work together. And then I've got this small Santa Claus in the corner, and I'm going to incorporate some of the patchwork designs. So here is the smaller one of the arches, and I'm cutting into the 4x4 tags. And then working from there, I'm going to use the patchwork style of paper, and going up the range of dies, I want to use the larger die for the floral elements at the back. Some of this will be hidden, but it does all tie in nicely together, creates a really country style vintage design. And then I'm going to use the middle size arc to create the second layer. So these will be run through my die cutting machine. I'm just holding them in place with some removable tape, and then I will cut these and bring them back to the camera. Once all of the designs have been removed from the dies, I will then adhere them to the white card bases using some wet glue. going to finish off the edges with some Distress Oxide. This is frayed burlap, and I'm just going to ink round all of the sides to pull the design together. Next, I'm cutting down a piece of card, or you can use the pattern paper, to 3/4 of an inch strips, and then they will be 5 inches in length and 4 inches in length. These will then be scored at either edge at 1/2 and 1 inch from either end. And this was mainly designed on the hoof. It was based on some Kanban cards that I'd made a few weeks ago, and I wanted the card to have depth, but I also wanted it to lay down flat to go into a small envelope. So I'm scoring at either end at 1/2 an inch and 1 inch, and on the first example, which is how I made the first cards, I folded the score lines back around to create a tab. So this was idea number 1, and this will end up giving you a slightly deeper card. So you have options here, and again I'm scoring at 1/2 an inch and 1 inch from either end. And then I will fold the tab line back on itself, so you end up with a Z at either end of the piece of card. It will make more sense in a moment when I show it to you, but I prefer this style. It means that the card will lay down flatter. So we're folding in at the 1 inch and then back at the 1/2 inch. So you can see here that you've got a Z at either end. So I'm going to make both of them the same. This is a smaller tab, so in at the 1 inch and then back at the 1/2 inch, and then these will be glued into place. So I'm adding glue to the main part of the tab, and this is adhere to the back of the first panel. Then we've got the folds. So we're gluing them to the first 2 panels, and then wet glue can be added to the smaller 1/2 inch tab at the front, and then this will be added to the back plate. You line up the base of the card, and this will mean that your card will stand up easily when you add it to the mantelpiece. Leave it to dry for a second or two, and then bring in the front panel and centre it up, and then again glue it into place. And there you have the finished card. So again, I'm going to use some white and black sentiments to add a verse to the front. It's quite hard adding the sentiments in the middle of summer, but these stickers are pretty good because if you change your mind, you can easily remove them and swap them over, and then when you're ready, use some wet glue to make it more permanent. So now that we've made the sweet card, I'm going to show you with the use of a We Are Memory Keepers envelope maker how to go about creating your own matching envelopes. So the grid on the board is really good. It gives you the dimensions. So to begin with, I'm going to cut down a piece of pattern paper that is 7 inches square. Then I will refer back to the grid on the envelope maker, and it tells me that I need to make my first score line at 3 3/8. So I'm lining up the left hand side of the piece of paper with the 3 3/8 mark, and then I prefer to turn my board round because I find it easier to set the score line in by drawing it down as you would on a normal scoring board. So I'm using the tool to add the score line in, and then I add the notch, and then I line up the score line with that blue nozzle on the envelope maker top. So we repeat this process 4 times, and then I can round off the corners too. Then I'm going to use my tool to fold and burnish down all of the score lines. And generally with the envelope makers you would make a horizontal envelope, but I like the idea of making it portrait because when you open up the envelope the card is portrait. So I'm reversing the flaps so that I can glue them down and then have a top or a side opening envelope. I'm adding wet glue to the tabs, and it doesn't take long to make your own personalised envelopes to match the cards. So once the tabs are dry I can add the card quite easily, and you can see how well the small tabs we created fold down and how much room we've got inside that 4x5 envelope. I tried the same thing again with triangular dies. As long as you've got a set of nesting dies you can really pick any shape that you like. And here you can see the variety of cards that are simply made. Again, I'm making them in bulk because once I get the idea it's easier for me to make 3, 4 or 5 in one go, and then these can be stored away ready for sending out at Christmas time. I've also been working on a craft consortium collection this week, so hopefully by the end of July I'll be able to share more of that with you. But until next time, thank you for joining me at Elizabeth Hogarth Designs. Take care, bye bye for now. Happy crafting.